In the last class, you studied about the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, the statement of the theorem. So every composite number can be expressed as a product of primes and their factorization is unique, apart from the order in which prime factors occur. So every composite number can be expressed as a product of primes and their factorization is unique apart from the order in which prime factors occur. So take one example. So see here, 140 as a composite number can be written as in the product of primes and their factorization is unique for this one, and you can change the order. The answer is 140 only. So next, so you go through the applications of the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So find the LCM and HCF of the following pair of integers and verify the LCM into HCF is equal to the product of the two numbers. So find the LCM and HCF of the following numbers. So first number is 26 and 91, and we have to just verify LCM into HCF is equal to the product of the two numbers. So 26 into 91, so prime factorization, 2 13s are 13 1s are 7 13s are 91 13 1s are. So 26 can written as 2 into 13 and 91 can written as 7 into 13. So HCF is the common factor is only 13, therefore HCF is equal to highest common factor is equal to 13, and LCM is equal to least common multiple. So 2 7 13, 2 into 7 into 13, you get 182. So verification, you have the one relation, the product of two numbers is equal to their HCF into LCM. The product of two numbers is equal to their HCF into LCM. So 26 into 91 is equal to 13 into 182. So 26 into 91 is equal to 13 into 182. So you get the answer 2366 is equal to 2366. Therefore LHS equal to RHS, hence verified. So you have to go through one more question. So you have 336 and 54, 336 and 54. 336 can written as, so we have to prime factorization, 2 1s are 2, so carry 1, so 2 6s are 12, 1 carry, 2 8s are 16, 2 4s are 8, 2 4s are 8, 2 2s are 4, like this. So 2 2s are 4, 2 1s are 2, so 3 7s are 21, 7 1s are, so like that. 2 2s are 4, 1 carry, 14, 2 7s are 14, 3 9s are 27, 3 3s are 9, 3 1s are 3. Therefore 336 can written as 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 7, and 54 can written as 2 into 3 into 3 into 3. Therefore the 2 have 4 times, so you can written as 2 power 4 is equal to 3 into 7. So 2 into 3 power 3. So HCF is equal to the common factors 2 and 3, 2 3s are 6. Highest common factor is 6. So least common multiple is equal to, so first you write 2 into 3, then 2 into 2 into 2, then 7 into 3 into 3. So total you got the answer. LCM is equal to 3024. 3024. Verification, the product of the two number is equal to their HCF into LCM. The two numbers you have 336 and 54, and the HCF is 6 and LCM is 3024. When you multiply, you get 18,144 is equal to 18,144. So LHS equal to RHS, hence proved. So next, find the HCF and LCM of the following integers by applying the prime factorization method. Same method you go through. So the problems, first one is 12, 15 and 21, and the second one 17, 23 and 29. So that I not solved, you go through as a homework. So third one as 8, 9 and 25. So I not explain, already I explained. You see that. Okay. So next problem, given that HCF of 306 and 657 is equal to 9, they given that two numbers you have 306 and 657 is equal to 9, and find the LCM of 306 and 657. So given that HCF of 306 and 657 is equal to 9, so find the LCM of 306 and 657. So the product, we have the relation, the product of the two numbers is equal to HCF into LCM. So that means the product of the two numbers have 306 and 657. So HCF you have 9. So LCM. So LCM is equal to, go through transposition. So 9 comes in the divide position. 306 into 657. 9 ones are 9, 34s are 34 into 657. You got 22,338. So that is the LCM. So this relation is very important. The product of the two numbers is equal to the HCF into LCM. So next, check whether 6 power n can end with the digit 0 for any natural number n. So you have to prove that 6 power n means 6 into 6, 6 into 6 into 6 n times. So when you multiply that 6 into 6, that number ends with 0 for any natural number n. We have to check. So but you know that 6 power 6 into 6 you get 36, 36 into 36, 36 into 6 you get something, the last digit you get 6 only. You know that the last number can't be 0. So but you prove that. So if a number ends with 0, then it would be divisible by 5. So any number it ends with 0 means it will be divisible by 5. The prime factorization of 6 power n can written as 2 into 3 power n for all n belongs to n. Since here you see that 6 power n does not contain the prime factor 5. So you see that in 6 power n you not have a 5. So therefore for all n 6 power n does not divisible by 5. Therefore 6 power n does not end with the digit 0. So hence proved. So understood what I am telling? Yeah, okay. Next, explain why 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13 and 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13 and 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5 are composite numbers. We have to prove that they are composite numbers. Both the numbers are composite numbers. So first I take 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13. So I take 13 common outside. So then it is become 7 into 11 into 1. So because I take 13 outside, 1. So plus 1. So 13 of 7 in 77, this becomes 77 plus 1, 78. So 78 can written as 13 into 3 into 2. See here the prime factorization. So 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13, the question is a composite number. Since so this is the product of primes, therefore it is a composite numbers. Any number can written as the product of primes, then it is a composite numbers. So 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5. So here you take 5 is a common outside, since you have 5 at both the sides. So 5 I take outside. So you get 7 into 6 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 1. So 5 can written as 108. When you multiply this much, you get 1008 plus 1 is equal to 1009. So 1009 is a prime number. So 1009 is a prime number. It has only two factors, 1 and 1009. So therefore this is a composite number. You have two factors and one more, 3. You have 3 factors, composite numbers. Okay, therefore these two numbers are composite numbers. So theorem, let P be a prime number if P divides A square, then P divides A where A is a positive integers. So they given P is a prime and P divides A square. If P divides A square, then we have to prove that P divides A. You have to prove that P divides A where A is a positive integers. Okay, first I take some examples. Okay, see that A square I take it as 4 and P equal to 3. So prime number I take it as 3. So when A square divided by P, that means P divides A square. In the theorem you call it as P divides A square. A square is divisible by P is equal to 4 by 3. So not exactly divisible. When you divide, you get some decimal places in that. So it is not exactly divisible. So A by P, so it implies A by P. We have to prove this one, A by P. That means P divides A, you get 2 by 3. That is also not exactly divisible. So I take one more example. A square I take it as 9, P I take it as 3. So A square 9 means A is equal to 3. So A square by P, you get 9 by 3, you get 3. 3 ones are 3 3s are. So divisible by 3. So therefore it is exactly divisible. So A by P is also exactly divisible. So in the both the cases you see that when a square p is not divisible properly, then a by p is also not divisible. So when it is in that problem a square p is divisible, then a by p is also divisible. Okay, so the same sentence tells in the theorem. Now see that. So let p be a prime number. If p divides a square, then p divides a, where a is a positive integer. So p divides a square means a square is divisible by p. So this means a square divided by p. So this meaning we have to prove this one, a divided by p, where a is any positive integer, mean it may be a composite number. So let the prime factorization of a, so it may be a composite number means is a product of the primes, p1 into p2 into so on up to pn. So you have n prime numbers here where p1, p2, pn are primes. Therefore a square, when you multiply a square, p1, p2 so on up to pn into p1, p2 so on up to pn, because you raise the power 2, so this will like this. So p1 square, p1, p1, p1 square, p2 into p2, p2 square so on up to pn square. So that they given p divides a square, that means p divides a square given p divides p1 square, p2 square so on up to pn square. So that means p1 square, p2 square, pn square. P divides p1 square, so that means p1 square into p2 square so on up to p3 square so on up to pn square, divisible by p according to the p divides a square. So that means one p, either maybe p is equal to p1 or p2, any in that. So by the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, p is the one of the prime factors of a square. P is the one of the prime factors of a square. P is the one of the prime factors of a square. So using uniqueness part of the fundamental theorem of the arithmetic, we say that only prime factors of a square are, you only consider p1, p2 so on up to pn. So p is one of the p1, p2, pn, already I told that. Therefore p divides a, p divides a, p divides a. So hence the proof, hence the proof. So next, prove that root 5 is irrational. Prove that root 5 is irrational is a very important question. You see that properly. So let us assume that root 5 is rational. So I considered root 5 is rational. So root 5 is rational means I know that we have to prove that root 5 is irrational, but I choose the method, contrary method I choose. So let us assume that root 5 is rational. So rational number always in the form of a by b and b not equal to 0. That is root 5 equal to a by b, where a and b are co-prime. Co-prime means a and b are co-prime means they have the not have a common factor. The HCF of a and b is equal to 1. HCF of a and b equal to 1. That means 2 by 3. When I take 2 by 3, their HCF is 1. You can't simplify. So that type of numbers you call it as the co-prime numbers. Their HCF is 1. Suppose I take 4 by 2. So the HCF is 2. So 2 ones are 2 twos are. So that is not possible. So you take 2 by 3. This type of numbers you call it as 2 and 3 co-prime. 4 and 2 is not co-prime. Their HCF is 2. Common factor 2 ones are 2 twos are. So 2 is the common factors you have. Therefore, where a and b are co-prime. So you take it here, transposition, b root 5 equal to a, b root 5 equal to a. Squaring on both sides, you get root cancels, 5b square, b into b, b square, a square. Because you squaring equation 1, you take it as equation 1. So this equation represents that a square is divisible by 5. This equation represents that a square is divisible by 5. A square divisible by 5. That means a is divisible by 5 by the last theorem. Last theorem represent like that. When a square is divisible by 5, then a is also divisible by 5. So a equal to 5k. So a equal to 5k. When a divisible by 5 means a by 5. A by 5, you get some constant k. When it is something you divide means you get the exact divisible k. So a equal to 5k, where k is some integers. So a divided by 5 means you get the some quotient here, and remainder 0 you get. A by 5, k you get. So that a equal to 5k, where k is some integer. So that is not a fraction. So where a is some integer, substitute the value of a in equation 1. So that is, you get 5b square equal to a square is 5k whole square. 5k whole square. That means 5 5s are 25k into k square. So next, b square is equal to 25 by 5 transposition k square. 5 1s are 5 5s are 5 1s are 5 5s are. B square is equal to 5k square. That means b square is divisible by 5. B square is divisible by 5 implies b is also divisible by 5 by the theorem. Last theorem. So which is a contradiction, since a and b are co-prime. So both a and b are divisible by 5. They told b is also divisible by 5, a is also divisible by 5. So which is a contradiction, since a and b are co-prime, they not have any common factor. Therefore, which is a contradiction to a and b are co-prime. Therefore, root 5 is irrational. Our assumption is wrong. Our assumption is wrong. So therefore, root 5 is irrational. So this is a statement. Note, the sum or difference of a rational number and an irrational number is irrational number only. If you made sum and difference of rational and an irrational, you take one rational and an irrational number, it is always a irrational. It is always a irrational. The sum and the difference of a rational and irrational number is always irrational. So next, one more point. The product and quotient is nothing but divisible. The product and quotient of a non-zero rational number. So the product and quotient of a non-zero rational and irrational number is always a irrational. Why do you take a non-zero? If you multiply with 0, you get 0 only. Okay, 0 is a rational. So the product of quotient of a non-zero rational and irrational number is always irrational. That means any number we have to add, subtract or multiply, you divide, you get a irrational number. When it is multiplied and divided with irrational number, you get always irrational number. Prove that. So prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. Prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. So let us assume that, one more time, what I do that in the last problem, you go through like this only. So let us assume that 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational. So in the question you have irrational, but I take it is rational. So that means you have to go through the contradiction method. So that is 3 plus 2 root 5 is equal to a by b. So it's in the form of p by q. Rational number is all in the form of p by q, and b not equal to 0, denominator not equal to 0, where a and b are co-prime, since you not have any common factor in the a by b. 2 root 5 equal to a by b minus 3. When 3 comes to this side, that become minus 3, transposition step. So root 5 is equal to 1 by 2. So it comes to here 1 by 2 a by b minus 3. So a by b minus 3 is a rational, since you note you written. So this is a rational, minus 3 you get always a rational. Rational minus whole number you get rational. So that multiplication of rational to rational, you get rational. Okay. Therefore root 5 is also a. So half a by b minus 3 is nothing but root 5. Root 5 is also a rational number, which is a contradiction, since you already know that root 5 is an irrational number. Root 5 is an irrational number. Since you already proved that root 5 is an irrational number. Therefore 3 plus 2 root 5 is an irrational number. So next, prove that 1 by root 2 is irrational. Let us assume that 1 by root 2 is rational, like this. So if here irrational, you consider it is rational. So that is 1 by root 2 equal to a by b, b not equal to 0. Same like that, a and b are co-primes. So root 2 equal to, when it is reciprocal, root 2. So b by a, b by root 2 equal to b by a. So b by a is also rational. B by a is also rational. That means root 2 is also a rational number. So which is a contradiction, since you know that root 2 is an irrational number. Therefore 1 by root 2 is an irrational number.